Hey, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed Louis Zaharian, who is the department head for Saturday Night Live for over 20 years. That's who you've been watching. We're really, really lucky to have him. He's been being interviewed by Michael Key, who is, of course, the publisher of Makeup Artist Magazine and the executive producer of IMATS, the man responsible for all this wonderfulness. So we have Alex LaMarsh with us. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
And Alex, you're going to do a tutorial on stage in a little bit of men's grooming.
Yes, I am.
Which is a very important skill to have.
It is a huge skill, and it's a very overlooked skill.
It is a very overlooked skill,
yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's a thriving industry. I mean, in pay scale and work-wise, you work harder when you're working on women, and you get paid less usually. And then when you're working on men, you work less and you get paid more.
Right?
So
who set it up that way?
Take heed, people. Work on men's grooming. It's good for your pocketbook.
Well, I want to get to more stuff about that, but just a little background on you. You do a whole lot of print, publicity, stuff like that.
Yes.
You've designed cosmetics and stuff for benefits?
Benefit cosmetics. I've done a lot of, help them design looks, and I've done a lot of campaigns with them, and I've been working with them for like 5 or 6 years now, which is pretty exciting. I mean, I love, I'm not an official employee or anything of theirs, but I just work with them a lot, and they're just great. They're fantastic.
What's it like what's it like to help design products? What do you do? What have you helped them with?
I don't design the products. They give me the products
to test more.
Yeah, and then I'll help them design the looks for the advertising, or they'll say like, we want something that looks kind of like this, and then I have to like create like the full face to go with it, and kind of brainstorm with them, which is really fun. And they have some really great products. They're kind of like one of those brands that people don't really think about as a in your kit kind of brand, but they really have some wonderful products.
Oh, they've been a staple for so long, you know. What are your top products that you love from Benefit so much?
I am a huge fan of their stains. The like Benetint and the Posy Tint, and all of those are amazing because they last all day. They have a dewy freshness to them, and I just eat them up. They're so good. I go through them so fast in my kit. And then the highlighters, they're just beautiful because you just can use them, and it just kind of naturally contours the face in a very natural, beautiful way. And you know, the cheekbones pop and the jaw pops, and without a powdery look or a highly contoured look, which I really like. So those are really big staples in my kit.
You know, Eve Pearl was with us last night, and she did a demo on me actually, and showed a 2-step contouring process with her stuff without using any dark contour color. It's exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
She did it with, you know, smile and do the highlighter here, and that pops your cheeks, you know, without having to do the dark contour.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Because the thing is it's like basic color theory, and playing with shadows is that, you know, darker colors fall in more, and lighter colors pull out more. They look closer to you. So you don't necessarily have to put the darker color in there. You just have to put something in there that reflects light. And that light being reflected makes it highlight. It brings it out.
Right.
And everything else kind of falls in.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a very natural, beautiful way to contour without like a heavily contoured look.
And, you know, I have to say, it's a way that I hope the makeup industry starts to transform into, to get a little bit away from the crazy Kim Kardashian stuff. Enough of that, people.
Totally, yeah.
NAK. Preach. So let's talk about male grooming a little bit.
Yes.
What is male grooming?
Male grooming is a lot of skin preparation. It is because with guys, you don't want them to look like they have makeup on. They're meant to look like guys. They're not made to look like perfect, pretty, flawless, you know. So the main focus for me is hydrating their skin, priming it really properly. I usually use an illuminator, like a skin illuminator primer, to help kind of reflect the light just a little bit so that you use less concealer. And once you've primed properly, then you just kind of have to just go in there and spot touch up instead of like, I've seen people literally just full face
of makeup,
and they don't need it. They don't need it. And guys don't wear makeup normally, so their skin is always a little bit happier on camera, so they just don't need very much. So I'm going to teach people how to change their thinking a little bit about it and just make it, it's very simple. It's just so simple. It's just like making those eyebrows look good, concealing any spots, and hydrating the heck out of their face.
Yeah, well, and you know, the light reflective properties that you're talking about help blur any imperfections.
Exactly.
So you don't need the foundation with that.
Yes,
You know, you've already got the blurredness, and that's better. And do you do under the eyes concealer too?
usually hit under the eyes and then any little red spots that they get, and it's so simple. And I always groom their eyebrows, because men's eyebrows always get crazy.
Do you tweeze them?
Occasionally. Sometimes I'll just be like, there's that one hair that is like too long and curling over here, and you're like, man, I know you're a guy and all, but you really don't need a hair that long on your face. So sometimes I'll like trim that one hair that's like out of place.
Yeah.
But mainly, use like a brow gel. Just go through and just comb it up and away. And it kind of opens up their face and makes them look a little less like sleepy. So, and it's all just kind of like creating an illusion of like perfect skin with using the least amount of products possible.
And what concealer do you like for guys?
I've been using Boing from Benefit. It's like a heavy duty, but it's really creamy and it's not dry, because men's skin.
Is it light reflective?
No,
it's not.
No, but if you just use the tiniest bit, it goes a really long ways, and it's so creamy, and it stays in place for a really long time, that it just looks like skin. It doesn't look like foundation or a concealer. It doesn't look heavy at all.
Right.
And I always just use a touch of that, and the guys tend to have drier skin anyway.
That's true.
So to use something that's a little creamier, if you use something drier, then it's gonna look like they have something on their face.
Yeah.
So.
And then what about shaving? Is that something that normally you have to do? Do they take care of it for themselves?
Sometimes you have to. I always keep either an electric razor in my kit, but the thing that I have them use the most is just I keep a small travel size shaving cream and a brand new razor. And they always do it themselves. They never want you to do it because they know their face and think it feels weird and it's kind of scary that you might cut them. So I always just give them the choice, and they'll always take the razor and they'll go in and they'll do it themselves in the bathroom and come back, and then I clean it up.
See, I'm blown away by this right now because I work in the film and television industry. It is the exact opposite.
Really?
They will never shave themselves.
Oh
Once you shave them once and they see that you can do a good job.
Oh yeah.
They will never come in clean shaven again, ever.
Yeah.
You will do it for the rest of the show.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that would make sense. But with print, I just see them once. They met me 5 minutes ago.
So that's
they're
different.
Like, it's a trust thing. Yeah, so they learn to trust you, and then you're stuck with it. They don't trust you yet.
I can't tell you the razors that have gone through electric razors trying to find the perfect one.
Yeah, it's like trying to find the perfect one, and now they don't even use them. They always want they just shave it themselves, and then I throw the razor away and buy a new one, and it's so easy. But and I always keep a really good hydrator.
What's the hydrator you like the most?
I am using actually an anti-aging serum, Bioxida. It's
by who?
Bioxida. It's Bioxidea. It's kind of a new brand, but it's like literally every time I put it on somebody's face, everybody is just like, what was that? Ooh. Because it feels like your face is just kind of like, it's very refreshing. So I put that on after they shave, and it smooths their skin out, and the redness goes away immediately.
Write this down.
It's really, really wonderful.
Bioxida.
And I use their masks on set too, because sometimes people come in and they've had something irritate their face, and you just peel off the mask and put it on, and it sits there for like 20 minutes while you're doing their hair or something, and then they pull it off, and their face, the redness has come away.
Excellent.
So it's really helpful.
Well, and you mentioned hair. Being male grooming is part, you don't just do their face, you do their hair as well.
Yeah.
Do you ever cut their hair? Is it just styling, really?
I mean, very rarely do you have to cut. I always say, I don't want to cut somebody's hair unless I absolutely have to, because that's a permanent change or a semi-permanent change. And if I was doing film, I could totally understand that, but for me, it's like 1 or 2 day shoot. I don't want to do anything permanent on them. So I just work really hard to maneuver their hair and kind of sculpt it so that if there's like a difference that they need done, I can kind of like maneuver it so it looks like they've had that haircut. But you have to get your hands in their hair all the time. And that is a huge part of men's grooming. Yeah.
But, we were talking about people that specialize in male grooming, and there's a lot of artists out there that just specialize only in male grooming.
Yes.
They do press junkets and publicity, red carpet, all that stuff.
Yeah.
If you want to, and they get paid very well.
Very well.
male grooming actually makes a whole lot of money. I'm not
So
trying
much
to
money.
like give away your W-2 here, but if you want to specialize as a male groomer, do you need to know how to cut hair?
You
have,
do.
okay.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
Like if that's going to be your bread and butter, then you need to have that in your repertoire.
Yeah.
You really do. For me, I do so much of everything that I really try not to cut anybody's hair ever. I don't like doing it, so I love doing hair. I just don't want to cut or color. But I do. I mean, I do so much men's grooming. So much of my job is men's grooming. And once people find out that you do it and you do it well,
then you get. I
it's
know.
like this whole
I see
circle.
that. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
crazy.
And you know, in LA when I do press junkets and stuff, I see the same girls over and over again doing the men.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I wanted to just switch over a little bit because I don't want to lose you before we get to talk about your basis for skin for females and what you like to see. You have a different philosophy
I do.
on not only skincare but cosmetics for females.
Yes, I do.
So tell me about that.
I'm not a powder person. I am anti-powder. I'm not afraid to say it. I see the future of cosmetics, the products that they are producing now, you don't need it. Like you really just don't have to have it anymore for film. I mean, for film you probably, but for print you don't. You don't have to
What
have
products?
It. There's like mattifying gels out there now. Like you know, like MAC makes a matte gel and it's clear and you can use it on any skin tone and you just put it across and they still have like a fresh skin look, but the shine is gone immediately. I use it on guys who are balding. I put it across their head and bam, super not shiny.
Yeah, it's anti-shine product.
Yeah. And Benefit Cosmetics has one called Professional, and it's like lightly tinted, and I use it on people all the time. It kind of like smooths out the skin, their pores a little bit, so it makes their skin look velvety.
Yeah.
And I do some film here and there, and I use that on people, and they can't tell the difference between that and powder, except for that they're usually happier. They're usually like, oh, she's glowing, she's not matte, but she's not shiny. And I'm all about it. Like I don't use powder blushes. I don't use face powder. I use cheek stains because it lasts all day. And then I'll put like a mattifying gel across it, and it's done. It's easy, and it's all about just hydrating. With men and women, I'm all about like taking that first 10 minutes to just really take care of their face, really take care of their skin. And once your subject's skin is happy, your job is so much easier. And everything else can take minutes because your pigments will slide across their face, and the skin tone evens out, so you need less coverage. Your lipsticks will go on better because their lips aren't chapped.
Sure, yeah.
Like everything, it makes everything better, and then it stays. It stays longer. And then when you need to wipe it off to do a quick change for something else, it comes off faster because it's hydrated.
Yeah.
And it's not like stuck in those dry skin cells.
Right.
So that's like a real thing that I teach people all the time, is I'm just like, the industry is constantly growing and changing, and right now people want fresh skin, especially for photo shoots. And photographers hire me over and over again because their retouching is easier, because people have face hair. They have that tiny bit of peach fuzz around their face, and when you use powder, it sticks in that hair, and you can see it when you're retouching. And it makes their job a lot easier when there's no powder in those hairs to retouch.
Yeah, okay.
So it makes the skin retouching a lot easier.
Well, but if you use like these anti-shine products, what about for someone that does need some coverage? Obviously models might not, but for regular people, what do you do there?
I mean, I work with a lot of regular people for like lifestyle stuff. And I'll use like a tinted moisturizer or something that gives it good coverage but dries semi-matte. Or when I feel somebody's skin, because the first thing I do is like I kind of touch their face to see what their skin texture is like and to see if they're going to be oily. And if I feel like they're going to be oily, I'll put like a matting primer down to kind of like block that oil for a couple of hours. And then I usually never have a problem, because I'll just hydrate their face, put a good matting primer on there, like an OC8 makes a really great one. Just throw it on the T-zone and then put everything else on as if you'd never put that on. But it lasts all day usually.
How do you, if you don't seal the foundations with any powder, how do they not start sliding off the face if it is an oily person?
I've never had them, as long as I use like a matting primer,
then it's been fine.
Then it doesn't slide off their face at all.
Nice.
Yeah, it makes it really easy.
Yeah.
And the other thing is when people have an oily face and you keep using powder on them, is they keep producing more oil. So I just try to like stop it before it starts, and it makes it more manageable.
And what about in the T-zone area when you get a hot spot?
I'll just, if they do start getting shiny or oily, I'll just mat it up with a sponge. Like I'll kind of absorb it with a sponge or like a tissue.
Yeah.
And then throw like a professional across their face, and it's instantly, the shine is gone. But you still have that dewy freshness,
right?
Which is nice.
Yeah. What are your favorite foundations and concealers?
I use Benefit's Boing, which is my favorite. I love Estee Lauder foundations.
Do you really?
I do. I love them so much.
I can't say that I've heard anyone say that ever.
I know.
Nothing against Estee Lauder. That's just so random.
Well, I mean, and they so much of the market is theirs, you know, and but they have some great products. But you think of them as like, oh, this is my grandma's makeup, you know, but it's not, you know, because they have so much stuff now. So I've been using, it's called Invisible Fluid, and it's like, it goes on matte, it dries matte, but it's not a full coverage, but it looks kind of like a tinted moisturizer, and if somebody has really uneven skin, I'll just throw that on lightly with like a sponge or a brush, and it's just instantly just like flawless kind of glowing coverage, but it's not dewy, it's not like really, it looks like skin, it doesn't look like foundation.
And it's called what?
It's called Invisible Fluid.
Invisible? I'm going to go check that out immediately.
Really good. It's really good.
It's like my favorite question to ask because we're always searching for the perfect foundation that mimics real skin for different, types, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
No, I love it. I think it's fantastic. Yeah.
Will you have any projects coming up that you want to talk about?
I think I am actually slowing down for a little bit. I've been really jam-packed the past like 2 months, and I think I'm just going to take a week off the next.
Good for you.
And just take a breath for a minute. You know how it is when you're like go go go, and then you're like, oh, wait, nothing's coming up for a week. I'm just gonna.
You need to take the breaks when you can, because when we go, it's just
inspiration.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we are artists, and you kind of like. You get lost in like the work, and then you lose the creativity. So you have to like, for me, I have to take a minute to like step back and be like,
find yourself again, and absolutely.
Go through my kit like 20 times, and then I'll be like, oh, I'm ready.
Well, Alex, thank you so much for stopping by. It's so great to meet you.
It's good meeting you.
And Alex is getting ready to do a little seminar demonstration on male grooming, but you just heard it all here on IMATS Live because you're tuning in, you lucky people. So we'll be back with more SNL madness today in just a minute. Thanks.